Hey, it's Eric from wanderwitheric.com. Today I'm here at Rollins Park in Concord, New Hampshire. You might remember I filmed a video here previously, the one about finding blue things in the environment. I'll link it above. Today we're going to try something a little different. I found an article on WikiHow about how to estimate the height of a tree from ground level with a few simple calculations. So we're going to try it out, see if it works. There's plenty of trees here in this environment, as you can see. So we're going to start out with something small and we'll try to work our way up to something bigger and see if we can estimate the height of some of the trees around here. Let's get vertical. You might remember this guy from the earlier video where I did street science to figure out the slopes of the steepest streets in Concord. But I think it's going to work just fine for this application as well. Alright, let's go find a small tree to measure, something easy to start with. I think this little tree right here will do. I can just look at it and tell you it's about 15 to 20 feet high. But let's go through the calculations and see what it says. Okay, so first things first, I need to measure the distance that I'm going to sight the target from. So I'm going to find a distance away from this tree where I can clearly look up and see the top of it. I also need to make sure that I'm accurately measuring the distance away from the tree. So what I've done is I've brought a little tape measure, and this isn't a very big tape measure, so we can't exactly measure all the way to a tree. But what I can do is I can measure my feet. So from the front of my foot to the back, it's almost exactly 12 inches. So we can just assume that for the sake of our simple calculations that my foot is exactly 1 foot long with this shoe on. Alright, next step. I need to take the size of my foot, which we just determined, and step out the distance from the tree to the point where I'm going to view the tree from to do the angle calculation. So here goes. "16 feet. Now I need to find the angle. Looks like we've got roughly 35 degrees. I'm using method 4 from the WikiHow article. First, I have to measure the distance from the tree to my viewing point. Next, I have to find the angle from my eyes to the top of the tree. Then I have to calculate the tangent of that angle. Next, I'll multiply my distance by this tangent. And I have to add my height, 6 feet, to the result because my eyes are not at ground level. The result is the height of the tree. This tree is 16 feet away, with a viewing angle of 35 degrees. The tangent of 35 is 0.7. 0.7 times 16 is 11.2. 11.2 plus 6 equals 17.2 feet. So this tree is roughly 17 feet high. Okay, I think this is working. Let's try a bigger tree. Alright, I think I'm going to try this tree right here. You can actually see our first tree out here in the distance. Okay, just by looking at this tree, I'm going to say it's about 35 feet tall. Let's see how close I get. This one was 32 feet away. We'll call this one 48 degrees. The tangent of 48 is 1.11. Times 32 equals 35.5, plus 6 equals 41 feet tall. Wow. That's a lot bigger than the previous tree. Let's see if we can find something even bigger. Okay, here is the 44-foot tall tree that we just measured. And now we're going to try this one. This one is very large. If I had to guess, I would say it's probably about 75 feet. 75 feet is my guess. Let's see what science says. "58. I'm going to call this one about 53 degrees. 53 degrees of angle. The tangent of 53 is 1.33. Times 58 equals 77.14. Plus 6 equals 83 feet tall. Wow. 84 feet. That is a big tree. I notice that I'm consistently underestimating the heights of these trees. Maybe it has just something to do with the perspective of being down here on ground level. But I'm consistently underestimating the size of these trees by 10-20%. Interesting. Now let's go find the biggest tree in the park. I'm looking at some of these pine trees or whatever they are over here. There's some big ones over there. There's some big ones out that way. That one over there looks pretty tall. That might be a contender. Some really tall ones out this way. I think the tallest of those might be the tallest one in the park. Let's go find out. Well, it's really close. There's probably a few other trees in the park that could give it a run for its money. But I'm thinking that the tallest of those tall trees over there is probably among the tallest trees in this park. So let's measure it and see what we find. You really shouldn't sit on these park benches if you're over 800 pounds. Okay, I think it's this tree on the left here. The left of these two, I think, is a little bit taller, although the right one is very close also. Now, one problem is the bottom of this tree is actually at a lower elevation than where I'm at standing here. So if I was to measure it from this angle, I would get an inaccurate measurement. So I have to get down on that angle in order to get an accurate measurement. Okay, I think this is my angle. It's 148 steps away. This one was about 40 degrees. The tangent of 40 is 0.84 times 148 equals 124.32 plus 6 is 130 feet. All right, so if my calculations were correct, then that tree was about 130 feet high. That's pretty big. I knew these trees were tall, but I didn't know they were that tall. So it's a pretty cool little method that you can use to calculate the height of any tree. All you need is a means of telling the angle and a way of calculating tangents. I happen to have this handy dandy angle finder, but if you don't have one of those, on that WikiHow article, which I will link in the notes, there is a method that you can use if you don't have an angle finder. And as far as the calculator, most modern calculators have a tangent function, but if yours doesn't, you can find an easy website that also is linked from that WikiHow article where you can calculate all the tangents. Anyhow, it was a beautiful day out here, just a fun day in the park. Did a little science experiment, observing nature and our surroundings. And how many times do we pass by a big tree and we think, that's a pretty big tree, but we never really bother to find out how big it is. Maybe we'll go on some tall tree finding adventures again in the future. If you liked today's video, click the like button, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, share it with all your friends. All your support really helps my channel to grow and to help me continue to produce this kind of content that you enjoy watching. Thanks so much. As usual, I hope you enjoyed wandering with Eric today. I hope you'll wander with me again next time. And in between now and then, I hope you remember to keep exploring.